I used to be a broken person. Like, I'm talking broken. And people say no one's truly ever broken. I've heard that phrase before. And I used to be like, I'm not really broken, but I was broken, shattered, shattered. When you lose your parents before the age of 5, like I did, the devastation is so massive that it did break me. And then not only did that happen, you know my story, if you've been watching me, I was then gone from one abusive home after the next with a different flavor of abuse in each home. And the worst, well, they were all terrible, but one of the worst ones was age 7 to 14, where I lived with my aunt and uncle. And my uncle, I know now, he was a very sick person, very, very, very sick. Um, Bipolar, most likely, amongst other things. And he told me I was worthless all the time. And he made me say it out loud. I am worthless. And, someone said to me the other day, it was actually a client, and she said, I think maybe it was more than one person, but anyway, she said, I'm a seer, and she is here. And I see that you still struggle with your self-worth. And I'm like, bingo. True story. That is true. Now, how'd that make me feel? Here I'm like asking myself, like talking to myself, how does it make me feel? Fine, actually, because it is the truth. A part of me, my ego was like, oh my God, can you see it? Can you see that I don't feel worthy sometimes? But then when I look at my track record, when I look at my history, and I'm still struggling with self-worth, and you know what? Even if it's just a teeny tiny little bit, it might be something I'm working on the rest of my life. It might be. You should have met me. If you would have met me 20 years ago, you wouldn't recognize me. Before I started down my healing path, before I went into rehab and stopped drinking, before I did any of that, you would not recognize me. I was 40 pounds heavier than I am now, pushing a size 14. I'm tiny. I'm little. I'm 5'3.5". And so you wouldn't recognize me physically. You wouldn't recognize me energetically. You would think I was a nice girl, but a hot fucking mess. I was so broke. I was so insecure. I was just constantly with the wrong men, in the wrong relationships, in the wrong jobs. And it was everything I did came from a place of people pleasing, because I was told I was worthless. I was told I was worthless, and I was left by my parents. One went into an institution, one died of suicide, gone. So when someone says to me, you're still struggling with your self-worth, I'm like, I am. I actually am. And I'm so proud of myself. I am so proud of myself, because where I am now is nowhere near what I should be, the path I should be on. And here's the thing. If you've been watching me in the last couple of weeks, I have a free event coming up on connection. I had to teach myself. I had to learn how to connect to other human beings, because human beings hurt me. They hurt me. And I wanted to hide or die. So I had to make a decision. Am I going to live my life suffering, or am I going to go and create and do something about it? And what did I do? I did something about it. And I went down the healing path, and I've been doing it ever since. So when someone says you still battle with your self-worth, absolutely. And I'm a fucking miracle. And I'm also been willing to spend the money, the time, and getting coaches, going to classes, going to workshops, going to seminars. And I was figuring this out the other day with one of my coaches, that I've spent probably over $300,000 in the past 20 years. and I would do it all over again, because every penny I spent, I found myself. I, it was like one penny closer to who I really am. I had to learn how to connect. Connection is not a God, it should be God-given, it is God-given, but this world is programmed with so much dysfunction and an intensity that sometimes, not all of us, but some of us, we have to learn how to do it. At least once a day, someone asks me a question. How do I talk to that person? How do I talk to my boss? How do I talk to my husband? How do I heal with my relationship with my best friend who's not talking to me? Every day I receive something. So my event on Thursday, which you're invited to, it's going to take the $300,000 and 20 years that I have done on endless amounts of courses, teachers, trainings that have been so valuable and got me from suicidal to leader. And leader with, sometimes I have some self-esteem. It's not even self-esteem. It's like deep, like self-worth stuff. So I've gone from suicidal to leader, because even though sometimes I battle with self-worth, hell yeah, I do. I don't care. I'm going to show up anyway. I don't care. I'm like, that's there, but I don't care. I'm still going to show up. I'm still going to I'm going to follow my vision. It's not going to stop me from supporting you and from me growing. So suicidal to leader, worth every penny. So what I want to do for you is, in this training, is to share with you a lot of what I've learned around connection and communication. Some of you may have amazing communication with your husband, but don't know how to speak to women. Or you may know how to speak to women, don't know how to speak to men. You may know how to show up powerfully at your church or your work, but there's breakdown with your kids. Every one of us has room to grow, everyone. And if you're sitting here going, I don't need that, I don't need it, you may need it the most, right? Because we all need to grow. We all have room to grow. And anyone who tells themselves that they don't need to grow and they're perfect and they're good is a red flag. And let me share with you this. I'm not going to waste your time. I'm inviting you to the training, and there is an opportunity for free intuitive coaching. I say intuitive because I'm an intuitive, but I'm going to bring 3 people up to get support on a relationship. It's going to be cool. It's going to be a surprise. I can't really tell you what's going to happen because I'm so excited about it. But there is opportunity to get one-on-one support. But all you got to do is show up. And every time you sign up, every time you sign up for something, even if it's a free event, because you are putting in your time, God knows, the universe knows, your guides know that, hey, he or she, they're willing to do this. They're willing to put in the work. And my ask is, if you know anyone, this is not a woo event. You know I'm woo. Like, look at this. You know woo. You know I'm woo. You know I'm woo. It's not that. The woo is in the fabric, but I'm not teaching the woo. So you could send this link to your grandpa. You could send this link to the teacher at your school. Be like, oh, she might need this. No, I'm just kidding. But anyway, you could send it to anyone really that you know could use a little bit of support in with connection and communication. And you send it, and they'd be like, oh my God, she thought about me. They sent me this link, yay! And whether they sign up or not, and do it not out of like, you know what, you really need this training, here's the link. They'll be like, you know what I mean? No shame, like, oh my God, the way you talk to me sometimes, you really need this. It's not from that place, from a, hey, I was thinking about you. I thought you might really enjoy this training. So you can send it on. All right, I am complete for right now. I'm gonna leave the link in the PS section. I really hope to see you there. And yes, there will be a replay. And if you can make it live, and take an hour out of your day. And here's the cool thing. This training is set up very differently. It's going to be Thursday, I always have to look at the dates, the 17th, when we're going to take the weekend off to process, implement, practice. And then we come back on the 22nd And then we have another day break, and then we come back on the 24th. So it's spread out. It's really cool. It's going to be paced in a very different way than, say, a challenge or like something like that. So you're going to have plenty of time to process, and we're going to have so much fun. So much fun. All right. I hope to see you there and meet you in Zoom person. I'll leave the link in the comments. All right. Talk to you soon.